What's going on, guys? My name is Eric Braun, and this is the introduction to the Mortgage Pro podcast. Our first episode will be dropped at the same time as this one, but I wanted to shoot this introduction to kind of give you guys some context on what the goal is, a little bit about me, and really what we're looking to accomplish with this whole podcast that we're building and community that we're building. So first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. I hope and I know you guys are going to get a lot out of the episodes that are to come. We're bringing on amazing guests, and I've already shot a few episodes, truth be told, and I know they're going to be super valuable to you. But first, I wanted to just kind of get in front of the camera and explain, and on the mic, and explain why we wanted to start this podcast. And there's a few reasons. The first reason is a lot of the mortgage podcasts that are out there are done by, let's face it, people who have a product to sell, or maybe they aren't loan officers anymore. They're not really in the trenches. And this is not to knock them and it's not to say that those podcasts aren't valuable, because I listen to some of them. But we really wanted to create a platform that was done by people who are still in the trenches. And me, I can tell you, I'm still in the trenches every single day. I'm a loan officer. I will always be a loan officer. I manage a branch and division, but bottom line is I'm still communicating with customers just like you guys are. And I think that's important. It's important to have a platform that has somebody that's still in the trenches. So that was the first reason we decided to create the Mortgage Pro podcast. The second reason is this industry has changed my life. I always make the joke and say I'm in debt to this industry, pun intended. I come from a background where, let's just say, it's not like anybody would have picked me out of the class and said that guy, he's going to be successful. It's not like I had extremely, financially savvy parents. It's not like I had connections. This industry has led me to live a completely different life than I ever expected. And I feel like it is my duty to help add value to our industry as a whole. So whatever I can do to give back is what I want to do. And this podcast is my attempt to do exactly that. So that's the second reason. And third reason is we want to connect with people across the country. I'm a firm believer, and it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. My dream life consists of, like, if I touch down in a city that I've never been there, I know one or two people that I can grab dinner with. So our goal is to build a network and a community across the country where we can, collaborate together and just overall just build relationships and have more friends. So those are really the goals of why we started this podcast. I invite you guys to come along on the journey, and I look forward to it. The next thing that I want to cover in this episode is the format of the Mortgage Pro podcast. So we're going to have two, as of right now, the plan is to have two different types of episodes. Number one is the episodes where we interview a guest, an industry professional. This could be a loan officer. This could be an underwriter. This could be a processor. This could be, somebody who works for Fannie Mae, somebody who is at the MBA. This could be a CEO of a national company. This could be, somebody who works in a company that provides a service for the mortgage industry. We want to interview as many people that affect our industry as possible. So that is the first type of episode on the Mortgage Pro podcast. The second type of episode is what I'm calling my solo episodes, where me, Eric Braun, will get in front of a camera, give you guys maybe something that's some of my 2 cents, a strategy, whether it's about marketing or whether it's about a business concept, or something that I learned or something that I experienced. But I'll get on and, kind of shoot the shit with you guys myself as a solo episode. So those are the two types of episodes. Both are going to be very, very valuable and fun, and looking forward to both. The next thing I wanted to go over today on this introduction is my story. So I'm not going to spend too long on it. You'll come to find out who I am as you listen to more episodes, which, again, this is your reminder to subscribe, follow, review, share, like, wherever you're seeing this. But I wanted to briefly kind of go over my story. So I've been in the business 8 years. I'm a loan officer. I actually first got started. I never expected to be in the mortgage industry. Didn't really know what a mortgage was. My father was a carpenter who became a paramedic for FDNY. My mom always worked in offices her life. She's like either was like an office manager or a controller, but that kind of line of work. Banking is not in my family by any means. Owning a business really isn't in my family by any means. And I got into this business by accident. I met an individual when I was 20 years old. He seemed like he was super successful. As a 20-year-old, if you owned a brand new car, that was success to me. So he had a brand new car. He dressed nice. He had a suit and tie all the time. I met him. We became friends. And, over the 2 years of knowing him, well, I met him when I was 18. Over 2 years of knowing him, when I was 20, he asked me, do you want a job? What are you doing for work? And I said, absolutely. Like, I want a job. I need a job because I'm not doing anything for work right now. And he made a joke and he said, why don't you come be my chauffeur? And at the time, I didn't know it was a joke. I thought he was being dead serious. I thought, to me, that was a dream job. Like, I get to drive in your nice car and hang out with you all day. That, like, sign me up. And I actually followed up with him for like 2 weeks after that. Like, hey, can I come work? Can I come work? And, that job that you mentioned, please let me work for you. And after, messing around with me for 2 weeks, he said, you know what? I got a real job for you. Come by the office and, we'll sit down and talk. I didn't even know it was an interview. I showed up in a t-shirt like this and didn't really explain anything to me. He just kind of put an employment package in front of me. I signed it, and, within 2 weeks, I was telemarketing at a mortgage company. So I say all of that to say I started as a telemarketer. My first 1 to 2 years in the business was during somewhat of a refi boom. We were doing harps and streamlines, and really my job was to pique the interest of a client and pass it off to a loan officer. And at the time, I didn't see the mortgage business as a career. I didn't see me being in it long term. But frankly, at the time, I was a EMT, emergency medical technician, and my whole goal was to join FDNY like my father and do emergency medical services, EMS. And while I was at that mortgage job for 1 or 2 years, I was just waiting for FDNY to call me. And once they did, and they did, I did the physical, and I passed the physical, and I started that whole process of getting hired. And I was at a crossroads, and I decided, like, let me do the risky thing and give this whole mortgage thing a shot, because EMS, being an EMT, will always be there. And frankly, I wasn't going to be very happy making EMT money because, let's face it, they don't make a ton of money. And I wanted, more out of life. And I wanted to have a nice car and nice things. And I make the joke, and I always say, I sold out the corporate greed, and I decided to stick to this whole mortgage thing. Started taking it seriously, got licensed, started branding myself. And for, the past 8 years, it's been a very fruitful career for me. So I'm glad I made that decision. So that's my little story. A little bit of background on me, just so you know who the host is of this show that hopefully you're going to tune into. And other than that, please enjoy our episodes. I'm always welcome to feedback. You can reach me, on all the social media platforms. I branded myself as Not Your Average Lender. So if you go to Instagram, Not Your Average Lender, TikTok, Not Your Average Lender, YouTube, Not Your Average Lender, or you can just, search me up, Eric Braun, and you should be able to find me. Please give me feedback. If you want to be a guest, if you know somebody that should be a guest, please reach out to me. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy, get value from these episodes. Subscribe, share, and most importantly, join our community. We created a private Facebook group called the Mortgage Pro Community. Link should be in the show notes, but if you don't know how to get to there, just shoot me a message on any of the social media platforms, and I'll be happy to add you. That is it. I hope you enjoyed the first official episode, which is coming up next. Thank you so much, guys.